key features, and so that somebody would be able to identify it. So per observation, you can have either one or many pictures, but it's actually one organism per observation. So if I repeat that, if you're taking photos of a plant, you can take different angles of the photos and add several photos of that particular plant, but it should just be one organism. Always just remember, it's one organism equals one observation on iNaturalist. So there are some tips about taking photos. Whilst insects are tricky because they move too fast, we recommend that you do your insect photos either in the cooler mornings or evenings of the day. Remember to take photos at night as well, because we have frogs, spiders, moths, all active at night. So even look at your lawn in your garden, you'd be surprised at what organisms you'd find at night. And then in terms of plants, make sure you take good shots of the different features. So the plant's leaves, the entire plant, and not just the pretty flower, the stem, the fruit, if you see them. And even with trees, make sure you take the bark, fruit, as well as flowers. And it is difficult at this time of year to find flowers on our trees, but try to get as much of an observation or key distinguishing features of that organism that you're taking. With animals as well, try to do your insects from different angles so that we could also look, if possible, get closer observation of whether that organism is male or female. So you may ask, now what? I've collected all of this data, and what happens to the data post CNC? Well, contributing your observations or organisms in protected areas, especially our nature reserves and parks, is very useful for local, provincial, and national biodiversity agencies who are responsible for managing South Africa's species. More locally, residents within a suburb or a state can easily document the wildlife in their area, learn about the species that they are cohabiting with in and around their home. So looking into City Nature Challenge in eThekwini, as Rupert mentioned, that I'm in Durban and I'm championing the City Nature Challenge in eThekwini. So we're very excited to have 19 BioBlitzes planned. And I'm sorry that the slide looks so busy, but you can see it's going to be quite a bumper weekend if you are in eThekwini, various sites, various different champions. And all of this information is available on the iNaturalist project page. It's the City Nature Challenge eThekwini page, which you can search for on iNaturalist. And we also have an event on Facebook via the iNaturalist page. So this is the iNaturalist project, and all information is available on the journal entry of this project. Thanks very much, Rupert. Over to you.
Thanks, Suze. It's nice to start in the East and work across. And we're going to now go to Tony Rubello to give us a bit of a tip. And remember that for a change, we are staying on this one. So Tony will be available for a bit for last minute tweaking, but we will also just share in the chat the links to the crew page on the BotSoc website with some training stuff, and also go check out the crew YouTube. Thanks so much, Shavana. Tony, camera on and do your thing, please.
No, Rupert, I'm coming last. So skip me and I'll come in at the end.
Are you skipping? Okay, cool. Right. In that case, I'm going to go down the list here. And Eleanor, could you please put on your camera and go live? Also, I'm seeing people putting questions in the chat. Remember, if you want to keep your questions for actual answering, it's much better to put it into the Q&A in the bottom left. So Eleanor is joining us from the Deep South, representing the city of Cape Town. Thank you very much. And go for it. Let's see what's going on.
Okay, I hope you can see my screen up here.
Yep. Thank you.
And Savannah, you apologize for your busy slides. I'm afraid that I was given a slide limit by Rupert and I have packed my slides. So I've got extremely busy slides. But essentially just to say that from a Cape Town perspective, we are obviously the oldest participant in South Africa in the City Nature Challenge. So this is, in fact, our 4th year going for this. Obviously, there was at least one complete anomaly in terms of the COVID year, and then another year that was sort of and sort of not COVID. But we're back in full strength, and we've had a chance to learn a little bit about the challenge. But also what's happened now, of course, because there are so many different cities in South Africa who are participating, is that our participants and our observers, and certainly our identifiers, are now being spread across the country. So there's a heck of a lot more competition. So Cape Town has been victorious in the number of observations and the number of species for the last years that we've been participating. And so this year, what we're really focusing on is trying to increase the number of observers. So we're trying to get the number of people up. That for us is really important, because the idea behind the City Nature Challenge is that it's a connection between the people, the citizens of Cape Town, residents, people visiting. It's a connection between people and the urban nature and biodiversity that occurs even within a city. So we're pretty lucky here that we have so much nature, and we have obviously different ecosystem types. We have ocean, we have mountains, we have flats, we have all sorts of things. So it is a bit of a privileged position, as well as being one of the most biodiverse cities in the world. But we've put together a whole bunch of fun activities. So I'm hoping the link will pop up in the chat, but I'll put the links up here for you to see as well. One of the things we've got is we've got a whole range of different bingo boards for those who are more in gardens, for those who are out in the wild, people who want to focus on invasive species, and people who are doing a coastal exploration. So the idea with those is you can play some fun bingo. They're all available on the iNaturalist Cape Town Facebook page. The link will be popped up. And as you can see from our map, we've got a pretty wide range. We even managed to go 1 nautical mile out to sea, which is very lucky for us. And we get a lot of incredible participation from our, what Tony refers to as mer people, our divers and boating people and the seabird fraternity and everything. And then on the right there, you can see some of the public facing events. So this year we have a bumper edition of public events that people can go and join. All of these events are on the City Nature Challenge Cape Town Facebook page. Some of the highlights, for example, would be tomorrow on Friday, there is a night walk into Kai Park, and there's also a night walk in the Tygerberg Nature Reserve, as well as some of our other nature reserves and different park areas. The city nature reserves will be open free of charge for the entire duration of the challenge. And I believe that Kirstenbosch National Gardens will also be free of charge over this time, provided you have the iNaturalist app loaded and have made at least 1 observation prior to that. We've got events across many of the reserves. So if you look on Saturday and Sunday, there's a hike to Elephant's Eye. There's an exploration in Rondaflei Nature Reserve. There are some in the northern suburbs, like in Fynbos Nature Reserve. Sunday, we've got some lovely marine activities taking place, because for once, the City Nature Challenge is over a perfect low tide. So we can do great rock pooling. People are welcome to join us at Smithwinkle Bay or go to the Meadow Ridge Common to do a meander. And there's another night walk at Van Skoorstrip, which is an interesting conservation area out in the north. And then on Monday, we've also got a couple of marine events. There are dives across the entire weekend that you can book for. All these details are on the page. So I'm going to pop the links up here. You'll see that the Facebook page for City Nature Challenge Cape Town, and then the iNaturalist project page. Both of those have got links to all these events. So what we're really asking people to do is to keep the Mother City on top. We've got some really ambitious 2022 targets, and now we have all these contenders, which is actually fantastic. So the real idea is that we all participate. I love Rupert's idea about visiting, neighboring, and doing a bit of a tourism around it. So yeah, spread the word, be part of the fun. And as you can see on the left there, we've got some amazing prizes lined up. And a lot of these are spot prizes. So some are for the big winners of observations and that. But if you just participate, you've got a chance of winning some great stuff as well. So yeah, please grab your friends and family and have fun. And hopefully a lot of you are joining Cape Town this year or will be visiting us on the long weekend. Thanks very much, Rupert.
Thanks, Eleanor. And what we'll do is on the YouTube recording, we will stick all these links underneath it, just so that people have quick access to it. So much appreciated. We're going to whiz up north now. Joe White from our Bunkenveld branch, could you please let us know what's happening in Jozi?
Thank you, Rupert. That's quite a thing to follow from eThekwini and City of Cape Town. There's a lot going on there, and it definitely gives City of Joburg and surrounds a lot to work towards to try and boost up that friendly competition. So for anyone around Johannesburg, there are a few places where you can go and visit this weekend. The Wilds Nature Reserve in the inner city will be open all weekend, and they're encouraging people to come through to try and document the flora and fauna around there. So that's a nice, easy, accessible place to go for most people. And then Walter Sisulu National Botanical Garden, out in the west, close to Krugersdorp, will be holding an event tomorrow. I'll give some details about that in the next slide. There are 2 high schools which are involved. That's really cool. So Parktown and King David are going to be holding events on their grounds and documenting the nature around there, which is really cool. I'll be taking a group of students out to Sekepostrand on Saturday. If anyone's interested in that, please contact me. That should be a nice little hike around in a big open natural area. And then just a quick shout out to Crocodile River Nature Reserve. They're up probably close to the Tshwane city boundaries, but they're holding a very interesting walk and talk on Saturday, and go and take a look at their website. I'm not sure if it's full or not or fully subscribed, but they are a very interesting, very cool nature reserve, which is well worth keeping an eye on. And then Arista Botha, our crew Gauteng champion, will be taking the group to Cliffendale Nature Reserve. So just to give some details of the open events. So Walter Sisulu will be having an event tomorrow at 8 a.m. So Lizek will be running that. And if anyone would like to join that, please meet at the Environmental Education Center. And then just to repeat that the Wilds Nature Reserve isn't having a specific event, but they'll be open and there should be people around there iNaturally and taking photographs all weekend. So please go join that. Thank you very much.
Cool. And I was in Joburg last week and got rained out quite significantly when I wanted to go to Melville Koppies. And when I drove past, it looked like there was a lot of things flowering at Melville Koppies. So if you've got access, I would definitely recommend people to check out that. And there's many, many really interesting protected areas and green spaces in Joburg. Sekepostrand would be another one to go and check out as well, which is a fantastic reserve. Thanks so much, Joe. In the spirit of us whizzing around the country, I'm going to ask Sandra Verlanger from Garden Route. So that's down, she's calling in from Mossel Bay, to give us a bit of an overview of what that group, and remember, they're also one of those like really established ones, what they're up to. And it's really nice to see the kind of variation in activities. So Sandra, just put that into presentation mode and unmute yourself and go for it. Thank you.
Greetings, everyone, from Mossel Bay. The Outrams live spread out across the Garden Route, and I'm the furthest west. This is the domain for City Nature Challenge, the Garden Route District, plus 2 nautical miles, Eleanor, comprising of 7 municipalities. So obviously at the coast, then there's mountain range, inland, the Klein Karoo, and the northern boundary, the magnificent Swartberg, and then there are 2 lumps of mountains in the Klein Karoo, Kamanassi and Rooiberg. And here are the results of last year's City Nature Challenge. The spread of observations closely reflects the population density and easy access to natural areas. We were placed 11th and 5th globally, the Garden Route City Nature Challenge, and you can see the Outrams contributed a quarter of the observations and half the species in the Garden Route. Okay, so now how about this year? Di Turner, former leader of the Outrams, has been rallying the troops aged 18 to 82, I think in fact possibly older, for these field trips to plus minus 40 sites. And she commandeered a vast array of associates. Field trip range will be similar to that seen in the previous slide and are not open to the public. But if people are stuck for ideas, please take a peek at the list on BotSoc Garden Route page. The public can also visit the Garden Route Botanical Garden in George over the weekend. They have a lovely nightlife event planned for tomorrow evening. And to gain free entry, all one needs is a smartphone loaded with the iNatural iPhone app and 5 observations. Nikki van Berkel and the bevy of associates have taken charge of the easterly coastal zone beyond the Wilderness Lakes area towards Knysna, Plet and Nature's Valley. In Knysna, Albert de Villiers will be hosting school groups at Knysna's Pledge Nature Reserve, and this little reserve will be open to the public this weekend as well. Mossel Bay District, the Great Brack River Conservancy members are enthusiastic CNC participants. The Evolver Dance Trail along the river is lovely and really a worthwhile hike. Garden Route urban edges are under pressure. It is reported now that 600 families are moving to Mossel Bay every month. So what is recorded this year might not be there next year. In this district, as in Hessequa, Kannaland, Oudtshoorn, those are in the Klein Karoo, around Uniondale, and large parts of the Greater Garden Route, there are many gaps and opportunities when it comes to exploring and recording all things wild and wonderful. We kind of lack the iNatters. We need to work on that. Another busy slide. This is a not a complete field trip list, but it gives an idea of what's going on. And this is on the project as well, the Garden Route City Nature Challenge project. And yes, thank you to Sean Swanepoel, Christine Rich-Snaufer, Dieter, Jenny Potgieter, Nikki van Berkel, and to SANBI crew, BotSoc staff, all the Garden Route field trip organizers, participants, and associates. Good luck, everybody, and have fun.
Thanks, Sandra. Yeah, I can just echo that Mossel Bay area is both super important and super under pressure. So if you haven't figured out what you're going to do, or if you're in the Tuin route for the long weekend, maybe check it out. I think in the spirit of bouncing around, we want to go to one of our new cities, Bloemfontein, and Emma Ferreira, who's from the Bloemfontein or from the Free State BotSoc branch committee, will give us a quick overview of what they're up to in the City of Roses. Emma, can you put on your camera and your mic, please?
Hello.
As it, yeah. So please share your presentation.
Here we go. So hello from the Free State. 2022 will be the first year that Bloemfontein or any city in the Free State is participating in the City Nature Challenge. So I would like to invite all those who will be in Bloemfontein or within the surrounding areas that you see on the map to participate in the City Nature Challenge 2022. So all of these lovely plants that you see on this slide were observed yesterday at the Seven Dams Conservancy in Bloemfontein. So please don't worry about not finding any plant life, because it is out there. I will be telling you all about the events in a little bit, but firstly I want to say, if you aren't able to attend any of the events, please consider participating from your garden or from your nature areas near you. The sidewalks also sometimes host observations, so please look out for that. Okay. So the events, firstly, we have the Botanical Society Free State CNC BioBlitz at the Free State National Botanical Gardens. We will be meeting at the entrance of the gardens at 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, the 29th of April. And again at the Botanical Gardens on Saturday at 11 to 1. And entrance for both of these events will be free for those who wish to participate in the City Nature Challenge, if you can provide proof of having registered on our Naturalist and having joined the Bloemfontein City Nature Challenge 2022 project on our Naturalist. And then again on Tuesday, there will be 2 events. And the first event is only for UFS staff and students, and this will be at 2 p.m. And then at 3 p.m., there will be a Naval Hill BioBlitz. The Naval Hill BioBlitz will start at the fork in the road between the planetarium and the Mandela statue. And yes, that's what I have. I will be attending the 2 events at the Botanical Gardens, and I will be hosting the UFS BioBlitz. I won't be at the Naval Hill BioBlitz, but please feel welcome to join me. And so all 4 events are available on Facebook under the Botanical Society of the Free State Facebook page, as well as that of our naturalist, ZA. Thank you.
Thanks, Emma. You did say Tuesday, and it's actually Monday.
Oh, sorry, yes.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I just in case people are going to be confused, it's Monday because by Tuesday the challenge is over and then we're uploading and identifying. Thank you so much for your inputs, and good luck to Bloom for your first time, and we look forward to seeing what's going on in the grassland there. Cheers. Right, so I'm going to now share screen for Margriet Brink from Kogelberg. Oopsie, sorry. Because she might have a bit of PC issues. But Margriet, can you switch on your camera? I saw it was working, and give us an idea, and then just tell me to move to the second slide when you're done.
Hi, Rupert, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're fine. Thank you.
I'm not allowed to start my video.
Oh, okay. Let me try and fix that quickly.
And it looks as if I might be able to share my screen. Oh, there we go.
Okay, well then I'll stop sharing then, and then you do your thing.
Share.
Awesome. I'm gonna mute myself.
There we go. Okay, fantastic. Hi everyone. My name is Margriet, and I live in Kleinmond in the middle of the Overstrand. This is the first time that we are doing the City Nature Challenge, but we did take part in the Great Southern BioBlitz last year and did surprisingly well. So we tried this year to learn a little bit from gaps that we had last year with the Great Southern BioBlitz, but now looking at everybody else's presentations, I realized that we've still got a long way to go. So it's always challenging and always fun. One thing that we did after the BioBlitz last year was to create kind of permanent social media presences for this sort of thing. So we created a Facebook group called Overstrand BioBlitzing, and then we also created a WhatsApp group to complement that for people who are not on Facebook, because we find that quite a lot of our target audience in the Overstrand are retired people who are not on Facebook. So we're just trying to cover our bases as far as we can. And we have actually been able to be a lot more organized this year. Actually, let me first just show you. This is the map of the Overstrand. We cover quite a large area with quite a diverse plantengroei as well. We go all the way from Rooiels and Pringle Bay in the west to the Dam and almost to Agulhas National Park in the east. And so we have found it quite hard to organize stuff for the entire area, and have decided that we are trying to get as many people as we can to organize outings for their local area only. And so we have got quite a lot of exciting outings in and around Kleinmond, Betty's Bay, Pringle Bay, and Hermanus, because that is where our organizers are based. But from what I understand, there are crew outings further towards the east at Hagelkraal near Pearly Beach as well. But then some of the outings that I can tell you about, we had a very big fire in Kleinmond a few months ago. And so we have been doing quite a lot of exciting post-fire monitoring. And I'm particularly excited to take a group into the post-fire mountain area, because there's a lot of things coming up that I recognize because I know what's supposed to grow there that a lot of other people will miss. So I'm looking forward to adding a lot of post-fire data through the City Nature Challenge. And then another outing that I'm quite excited about is we have a project called Memetes Park. I'm just running through my list of outings here now. I don't know if it's useful to see, but another project that I can tell you about is that we have started clearing up a small bit of urban parkland in the middle of Kleinmond. And we are going to start properly biomapping this area because we have found that there are a ton of invaders there, but there also are some very interesting species of a conservation concern that we would like to try and protect. And then we would also like to try and get it cleaned up so that the public can enjoy these species without having to go deep into the mountains. So we're inviting everyone to come along to our mini blitz in Memetes Park. It is literally just a town block that has got some lovely natural growth on there. And so it's incredibly accessible for the broad public. So we're very excited to share that with you. And then we've also got a couple of youth groups and an eco school that are doing their own things this year, which we're very excited about. We have had the Overberg Bird Club are doing their own thing, lots of outings across the entire weekend. Kleinmond Hiking Group is taking a group to Royals tomorrow morning. We have been just absolutely blown away by public participation this time. So next time we'll be even more organized and see if we can get everyone on board from the Far East. But yeah, so I don't know, is there anything else that I'm supposed to say? Everybody else sounded so organized.
No, it's cool. I think what you're highlighting is just the fact that this is now something which is annually on the calendar, like with GSP, and it gives us the opportunity to kind of what's the English word for stelselmatig, systematically work through our areas, and that's got a lot of power from a conservation point of view. And as you said, the post-fire monitoring is going to be great because if, for example, if there's an EIA in that area and then the EIA gets done when the veld is 10 years old, then we at least will have that sort of information. So yeah, I'm very keen. Sandy was just saying in the chat that there's also very strong marine and estuary focus. I know the shark people are going to be doing their thing a nautical mile out as well. So looking forward to it. And I intend to be in your neck of the woods on Sunday. And I've got a bit of a roaming schedule, everyone. So keep an eye on the BotSoc Instagram and Facebook, because I don't exactly know where I'm going to be. But I'll be hitting on quite a few areas. Thanks, Margriet. Much appreciated. And okay, right. So, Adrian, are you ready for us? Let's go to the Windy City far east to Gqeberha. Adrian, can you unmute and video?
Yeah, thanks. Sorry, thanks, Ruben. Let me just try and figure out my technology here.
Cool. I'm going to switch off mine.
Is that sharing my screen with you guys at the moment?
Not yet.
No. Okay, great. Now? Oh, wait. Sorry. Clearly, I'm challenged. Is that working?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Rupert. Yeah, so we are, as Rupert said, we're from the Windy City, Nelson Mandela Bay, which is Gqeberha, the old Port Elizabeth, Uitenhage, and Dispatch areas. So we're the Algoa branch, and we'll be supporting the iNaturalist City Nature Challenge this coming 4 days over the long weekend. There we go. Yeah, so we don't have too many people who have joined yet on our iNaturalist project. So if anybody here is planning on being in the Nelson Mandela Bay area over the weekend, or if you live here and you are keen to do something over the weekend, the weather's looking really nice. I just had a quick look at the forecast now. So this is actually the time of year that we do get our best weather. We are the windy city, but it's mostly in summertime. So this time of year, it's actually very nice. We're not having any gale force winds. So it's a prime opportunity to get outside and see some of the brilliant nature that we do have around here. So the link to our project is at the bottom there. Unfortunately, you won't be able to click that, but if you just search for that last string there, the City Nature Challenge 2022 Nelson Mandela Bay, it should pop up eventually in one of the searches. So we have, for each day, we have one event planned that we're going to be supporting. The first one for tomorrow, we will be heading up to the Kucha area. So the idea behind our events is just basically to showcase the diversity in different biomes that we get in Nelson Mandela Bay. So we're trying to see as much of that as possible. So tomorrow we're heading up to the Kucha area where we'll see some thicket vegetation. On Saturday, we'll be going to the Hopewell and Rietkel Road area, which is a bit of a mixture between fynbos, lowland fynbos and thicket as well. Then on Sunday morning, we'll be going up to Kinney Bay, which is sort of coastal vegetation, coastal dunes, a mixture of dune fynbos and dune thicket. But we'll also be walking along the beach where we will see some rock pools, always lots of interesting little creatures and things that we find in there. So yeah, the Sunday one should be quite a diverse array of things that we'll be able to see. And then on Monday, we'll be having our last event, which will be at Bay West. It is an area that's under immense pressure. Yeah, in my opinion, that it's one of the most threatened and most important areas for lowland conservation in our metro area. So yeah, we would really like to try and get as much information and data collected for that area. We know that there are lots of threatened plant species out there. So yeah, as some of the other people mentioned, for EIA purposes and so on, this data really is important. So if you're able to join us, please do so. And also just to mention, all of our events will start at 9 o'clock in the morning, and we aim to sort of wind down towards 12. But yeah, inevitably, a lot of us tend to hang around later. So yeah, don't feel rushed at all. If you're keen to stay out the whole day, please do so. I'm sure some of our organizers will do that as well. All right, that's all from the Alcoa branch there. Thank you, Rupert. I'll hand back to you.
Thanks, Adrian. Can confirm that Bay West area is very worth exploring. So please get involved there. And if you don't know what an EIA is, go and check out the previous BotSoc webinar on the subject, which will give you a good grounding on the environmental impact assessment process. I'm now going to share again because the two of the cities that couldn't make it, being Weskus and also the Southern Overberg, and I will tell you why right now, but let me just share. Oh, and Stellenbosch as well, excuse me. Oops. Okay. Okay, right. So another new participant this year is the Stellenbosch area, and you can see it's pretty extensive because it's the Stellenbosch municipality. There are, and you'd have to keep an eye on the Facebook pages of Cape Winelands Biosphere. They've got some activities planned for in Stellenbosch and around. And on Saturday, I'll be going to the Vemershoek Vlei site, which is just across the road from the Berg River Dam. And the Stellenbosch municipality, it's municipally owned, have kindly given us permission to go and BioBlitz there at 9:30 on Saturday morning. So you've all got my email address from the invitation to these webinars. And if you're keen to join, let me know, and then I can send you better directions. Very important site, the last big chunk of Swartland alluvium fynbos on the valley floor in the Franschhoek area, and at least 3 site endemics. Also bring your saw along. There's a little bit of hack here. And if you've got a tree popper, that would be a good idea as well. So that's Stellenbosch. And once we're there, there's 2 or 3 other options that we want to go to in a 10-kilometer radius, and we'll see how people's energy levels and so forth are, and determine where that would be. Then Weskus. So Eleanor's introduced the bingo concept, and this is the bingo card for West Coast. I think the easiest way to meet this bingo card will be to go with crew on the crew trip. So if you booked your West Coast crew trips, then you should get the bingo easier. Other than that, just keep an eye on the West Coast project on iNaturalist for other events. One that's definitely open to the public is the Yzerfontein BioBlitz. And there's also going to be opportunities to BioBlitz at all the other local authority nature reserves in the Swartland municipality. So think about the 2 big Renosterveld chunks in Malmesbury, Klipkopje, and Driehoekpad, the Darling Renosterveld nature reserves, Tini Versveld, the SANBI reserve. There's loads of options in the Weskus area. And then I haven't done a slide because they couldn't get back to me. I think it was load shedding, but Kimberley is also taking part as a city for the first time this year. And I'd encourage you to go check out the Kimberley project on the iNaturalist list that Savannah has shared in the chat there of all the cities participating. And for those of you who don't know, there's been there's quite a few SADC cities taking part as well. So Gaborone in Botswana, Harare in Zim, etc. Go through the list. Okay, so that's all from my side. Tony, are you ready with the tool that you wanted to show us?
I repeat, no, I don't know what tool you're talking about.
I mean, or whatever you wanted to show us, put it that way.
Okay, welcome everybody. I'd just like to take you to the home page in the link there. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. So welcome everybody. Welcome to the City Nature Challenge. It's about to happen soon. And this, as far as I'm concerned, is the nerve center for the challenge. And it's the Southern African umbrella site where we've got all the cities listed, and we can see more of them over there. So these are the cities taking part, 20 cities in Cape Town. And from this page, please join it. I've put it in the link. Join it here so that you remember. From this page, you can go to any city that's taking part in Southern Africa in the competition. And just by clicking on them, you can go to the actual page. I'll just open up a few. I've opened them up in other windows. And this is the point where during the competition, it will tell us how many observations and how many species and how many observers have taken part in the competition. And the leaderboard will show us who is leading, who is donoring Cape Town, or if Cape Town's going to be by far a winner, and Overstrand and Garden Route don't stand a chance. And we'll see in terms of observations or species, if you click there on species, or in terms of observers. At this stage, we're not yet ready. We're a few hours away from the City Nature Challenge. Cape Town's page, you've seen it there. We are 6 hours and 10 minutes to go. So almost 6 hours, we will start the City Nature Challenge. Please again, join your city. So up on the top here, join your city, because at some stage the city will be sending you information in the journals, and here is the journals. So you can see here Cape Town has got its planned events and things to do and do's and don'ts. And as the competition goes on, there'll be summaries and other information. Every city is doing it slightly differently. There's the garden route, and they're full of tips and random reminders and getting everyone ready for this. And now the rest of my things are hidden behind the bar. So I'm having difficulty showing you the other ones. Overstrand, there we are. They've got their night watch going on, and Harry Potter's coming to the thing. So please go to your city, make sure you join it over there, and then just pop in every now and again and look at the project journal and look at how things are going for your challenge. Yeah, I can't get to the other pages. So yeah, let's just look at Cape Town. We can go to the events page here, and it will tell us some of the events happening there. Each city has got it different, but hopefully every city's got from their journal page, they'll have a link to the City Nature Challenge Facebook pages, if that's what they're using, or their WhatsApp groups or whatever, and then you'll be able to see the events that are coming and happening over the course of the weekend. So the night walks at Tygerberg and Takai, the Elephant hike on Saturday, they'll all be in the different Facebook pages. So they're all slightly different, but you can follow and happening in different groups by following their different pages. I don't think I need to go anymore. Everyone showed you what's happening in the different cities. And while we'll be taking part in the cities here, and while we will just keep a tab on the projects that we know what's happening, we can also go back to this page and see what the leaderboards are and who's doing what. Okay, we can also link here to the global page. There's a quick link there. We just have to click on it to open it. And here you're going to see that I've been lying to you. I told you that the event will happen in 6 hours, 8 minutes. I'm afraid it started at 2 o'clock this afternoon when Christchurch came on at midnight. And this is underway. We can see there 2 New Zealand, 2 Australians taking part. And the leaderboard right now is Greater Adelaide in terms of number of observations, in terms of species. Sydney's running ahead. And in terms of observers, they've all got 2. It's neck in neck. All of them are having exactly the same thing. And in case you're wondering why is it that they've only got 2 and so little, and remember, Christchurch is the one that's most ahead. It's 5 o'clock in the morning at Christchurch. The sun's only going to get up at 7. So it's 2 hours before they actually take part. These are the diehards who were there at midnight and who started doing observations the moment the Great City Nature Challenge began. And yeah, you can go to these cities, click on them, and you can see what Sydney is actually participating in. We can look at the species they've got and see the sort of species that they have in Greater Sydney at midnight. And yeah, you can look at the pictures or other stuff as well. So it's a great way of just seeing what different cities record, what biodiversity we have in the different cities, and compare them to say what's happening in your own city. So this is the overall one for the entire thing. And as we can see there, we're sitting at Greater Adelaide has just come in. And very soon we can expect Hong Kong to move in and Asia. And then we still 6 hours away, 6 hours, we will start at midnight and we'll be able to go. And then the event will continue for 4 days. And then when we finished, it'll be another 12 hours before the last city will take part at midnight when they close on the 2nd of May. And that will be in Hawaii and when the competition will come to an end. So that's the gist of it. For the next 4 days, we're going to be having fun, comparing ourselves, comparing with international people and making observations. And that's all very cool, but it doesn't stop there. And please, BotSoc, we'd like your help afterwards, please. From the 3rd of May until the 9th of May, we have to make identifications. And if we're going to have thousands of observations, that's going to be thousands of identifications. So we'll be coordinating it nationally from this national page, well, the regional page, and there will be a project journal which will tell you what to do and what information and how to help with the identifications. We'll also be doing a course on Wednesday at 10 o'clock and again at 7 o'clock in the evening on how to use the identification tool. And it will be in these journals that we'll send you the links as to what to do and how to do it. Okay, I should stop there, but I never know when to stop. So I'm just quickly going to show you the identify tool, which you don't need to worry about for the next 4 days. And I would quite honestly suggest that for your ID, for your observations, don't worry with the IDs over the next 4 days. Upload your observations. IDs we will do afterwards. So just put them on. Don't worry about calling them plants or hojas or whatever. Just put them on, put them up, and then on Tuesday morning, we will start with the IDs. And in the journal page, I will have a link, and you just have to click on the link and it'll open up this identify tool, which can get you started. And we'll start off with the ones that need identification, which will be something like that. All you have to do is click the link and it'll come on, and you can then go onto the tool, click to activate the tool, and you can say there, what on earth is this? I don't have a clue what it is, or I know, this is a wasp. And tribe, where's the wasps? Hymenoptera, there we are, Hymenoptera. And what we're doing is we're taking it from unknown into a level where an expert will be able to make the ID. When we finish that one, we click and go to the next one. And there's the, what on earth is that? It's a daisy, Asteraceae. All we're doing is taking it at this stage from the unknown into a level where the daisy experts can now look at it. And we go along with all of them. There's another daisy. If you know which daisy it is, please identify it. But daisy will do because it will take it through to the daisy experts who will be able to identify it later, or Asteraceae if you prefer. Now we'll go on doing that. Sorry, I've got the thing interfering with me. When you come to the last one on that page, on the tool, you can identify it, or you say, no, I don't know what that is. I can't identify it. I'm just going to skip it. And you get the next one. It'll ask you mark as reviewed and view more unreviewed. I would say mark as reviewed, because then those take you off. Those are the ones you couldn't identify or you've already identified and you can't do them anymore. So mark them as reviewed, click to mark as reviewed, and then go on and start identifying, let's give it a chance, start identifying the next page by clicking more reviewed. And the fun thing about this tool is that we can have thousands of people all over the country, all over the world, making IDs at the same time. And the moment you finish with the page, it'll update it. And the ones that in the meantime being identified will disappear, and you'll be able to go and make your IDs again. And then during the identification parties, as we call them, we'll send you other links, which you will just click on. And then we'll go from this page, which was look at the stuff which is unknown. We'll then go on to those which need identification. And then it'll be a case of opening it again and saying, is that Welwitschia mirabilis? Yes, I agree. And I can't get there because my thing is, I'll move it out the way. There we are. I agree. And so I agree with that identification. I move on to the next one. I don't know that one. Move on to the next one. Yes, it's that. I agree. So now we're making identifications to the next finest level. And eventually, hopefully, we'll have them all identified by the end of the, by the 9th of May. So we're going to need lots of help, please, for the course IDs and for the fine IDs. And then, of course, the moment it's identified, it will go off and it won't show up here because I'm only interested in those by the filter that need ID. And if other people have identified them in the meantime, they'll disappear. So it's a really cool tool. It's really efficient. And we're going to have to be smart to identify 50,000 observations, or it might even be 100,000 between all of us. Over 7 days is going to be thousands of observations per day, hundreds of observations per hour that are going to need it. So we need your help, please. And don't finish the challenge and go off on Tuesday and go and have a party, that's when the real work begins. For birds and animals, it's relatively easy, but for the plants, we're going to have a big, long battle to get them done. And it's cool, it's great fun, and we'll have the parties, as I said, and we'll tackle these IDs as we go along. And then, of course, it will all show up over here in terms of observation, species. We need the species IDs to get the species numbers up and observers. And this year, we're trying to go for the numbers of observers, or at least Cape Town is. I don't know what targets you other guys have set. You've all got your targets. So you'll be watching there and seeing who's winning and whether it's Overstrand, Garden Route, and Cape Town in that order, or whether it is California and Hong Kong and whatever. So it's going to be a great ride over the next 4 days. And then it'll take a bit longer to actually get the species as we do the IDs over the week. And that's going to be fun. So yeah, it's begun, it's underway. We've got 6 hours to go, but these guys are already busy and already going. And Monday evening, hopefully we'll be able to relax, put our feet up a little bit before we go into the identification party. Thank you.
Thanks, Tony. I'm very happy to say that we've got another new city participant. Soli Modimola has actually been on public transport and he's now able to join us. I'm going to share his presentation from this side. And then Soli, I don't know if you're going to put on your camera or just go with voice, whatever you're comfortable with, but I'm going to share your presentation.
Hi, everyone. Sorry, I'm not going to share my screen. I'm just going to go with the voice. I just got home and yeah, everything is just a mess.
Cool. And we can hear you fine. Soli, are you calling from Toyandu?
No, right now I'm calling from Leboa home.
Oh, from Lepkauza. Cool. Thanks.
Okay, thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. My name is Kamagalo Solomon Modimola. I'm based in Cape Town, Kirstenbosch National Botanical Gardens. I'm one of the organizers of the City Nature Challenge Toyando, and we felt like it is about time that Limpopo shares its spectacular flora and fauna to the world during this nice competition. Next slide, please. Oh, sorry, Robert. Toyando is found in the Limpopo province, the north of South Africa. It is the city of Venda and now the name of our project. The City Nature Challenge Toyando will take place within the Thulamela local municipality, which is part of the Vembe district in the Limpopo province. The region is also home to diverse plants and animal communities, and such are found within the area of the forest of Libombo Ironwood, the South Spansberg Mountain Range, the Toyando National Botanical Gardens, and the Mpapuri Nature Reserve. Several grasslands with scattered trees like the baobab trees, short open woodlands, and bushes of different kinds cover the entire municipality. So we're going to have a great time observing and contributing to INET. This also includes the finger grasses, herbaceous plants, the wooded plants, the grasslands, and farmlands within the area. We also have animals like elephants, rhinos, wild dogs, and antelopes. For an example, if you can look at the logo of the Vembe municipality, it has some iron ores and some antelopes and some rhinos on it, and the baobab trees. So it shows that these species are going to be observed. And if we had a chance, I'm kind of jealous now that I'm seeing Cape Town is playing a bingo challenge. It's going to be a great time for us to prepare bingo and maybe expect people to observe things from the logos of the local municipalities found in the Thulamela municipality. We're going to host 2 events. The first one is going to be in the Mpapuri Sakat Nature Reserve on the 30th of April, which is Saturday. And the second one is going to be at Thohoyandou National Botanical Gardens from the 29th of April to the 2nd of May, whereby standard rates apply. So it means you're gonna have to pay to enter the garden. The challenges we are currently facing are the days in the field. We only have one day, which is Saturday, and we only have one nature reserve. And another thing is the rates, which are applied in the National Botanical Gardens, whereby if there were no rates, people were just gonna know that we're going to the garden. Other than doing INET, we're just going to see the garden and enjoy ourselves. And another thing is transport. And another thing I've seen is we're gonna need more people to help us identify in our region. And next slide, please. Who will be joining us in the field? We're going to have students from the University of Limpopo, students from the University of Venda, a group called Exploring Without Limits, which is a group of hikers in the Vembe biosphere doing hiking and camping, and local citizen scientists from iNaturalist, whom I have personally messaged to help us with iNaturalist. And with logistics, transport will be leaving UL, and unfortunately the one leaving from UL is full. And there will be another one leaving. They're going to meet with those in Univen by 8:30, and we're all going to leave Univen by 8:30, and we're going to drive to the
Sorry, Soli, we're losing you a bit there. Can you repeat?
And the second one is a VIP ticket to Limpopo's Heritage Collection Gala Dinner, which had previous attendees of Tito Mboweni and Papa Penny. And there's also going to be a random selection of participants who will win a hamper sponsored by ZZ2. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time, and let's go botanizing. Most importantly, let us go explore without limits. Thank you. Cheers.
Thanks so much, Soli. Awesome to hear from Limpopo. Okay, I'm going to wrap up with a couple of slides now, the formal section, and then we'll stop streaming, and then we can have a bit more of a relaxed conversation. Really nice to hear from all over. The one city we haven't mentioned is Pretoria. They've not got any formal events, but because there's been so much rain, all the grasslands are looking fantastic. So their motivation is more to tell members and people of the public to go out and find a natural space close by. There's the botanical garden, there's all sorts of interesting ridges and grasslands. And then let's see what you can find. So from my side, let's just go to my final presentation. Which I seem to have lost now. Sorry, just give me a second. Okay, I found it. Right. So from an ad break point of view, next week on Tuesday and Saturday, the BotSoc National are hosting a workshop called Be a Pollinator, and tickets are available on web tickets. Charisse Fulyun, who some of you might know, will be running the event and showing us how to pollinate. And we also have inputs from a pollination expert as well as myself. And there'll be an opportunity to taste lots and lots of different kinds of honey, which we've got, as well as some local teas. And there might be some, also some, not might, there will be discounts available at Moyo, who are helping us host it. So please pull in for that. Seats are limited, and go and have a look. We've been sharing this information on our social media channels, and check out on web tickets. Then, to bring this to a close, I just want to thank all the people from across all the cities for their very enthusiastic contribution to tonight. I think our idea is to have this available for sharing immediately on YouTube, so that you can give it to other people, and we'll also stick all the links that people have been putting in the chats underneath as a pointer to where the various City Nature Challenge information can be found, whether it's Facebook or just the projects themselves. And as everyone said, go out and enjoy. You know, we live in a beautiful country, and we're getting to know it better. So our next webinar in a month's time, once all the City Nature Challenge dust has settled, is on pollination. And we look forward to showing you some of the more interesting pollination syndromes that have been worked on in the last couple of years. So thank you, everyone. Enjoy it, go out and have fun, and be careful as well. Right.